we're in the office of the Assistant County Manager of Wayne County here we're on North John Street, right?
Yes, sir. 134 North John.
In the Jeffries building.
Yes, sir. Second
All right.
floor.
Tommy Burns is our new Assistant County Manager, and I say you're new, you've been with us for a while, but first opportunity to talk and kind of introduce you to the masses. We have masses, right? Okay, we do have masses. But Tommy, I wanted to ask you the position of Assistant County Manager. You're our very first. So what brought that on? Why do we need an Assistant County Manager?
Well, Wayne County is a growing county, and with that comes challenges. And we've been fortunate through the years that, Mr. Wood has been here several years now, and he's really taken on an active role in moving the county forward. And I guess the easy answer would be to say I assist the county manager. But we divided a lot of the duties when I first came on board back in December of 2014. We sat down and kind of divided up the job duties. I supervise about 9 departments, and he supervises the rest. And we tried to do it based on areas where maybe I had more experience or and more expertise kind of than he, like the airport. I'm a licensed pilot and been around airports for a long time, and so that was kind of a natural fit. I've got a family that's got an emergency services background, so that was sort of a natural fit for me to work in. And but primarily, I kind of assumed the role of the quote-unquote manager for those departments. Those they report to me, and I help them with their budget preparation, and I'm kind of their liaison to the county manager's office and to the Board of Commissioners for when they have departmental issues.
You said you had 9 departments under you. So what are, we have a list here somewhere. Where are all those departments?
The Department of Social Services, they're governed by their own board.
Yes.
And so I'm assigned as kind of the liaison between the DSS director, the DSS board, and the county manager's office. And same thing for public health. They have their own board that governs their practices. And so the health director and I, we kind of liaison directly with the county manager's office. I've also got the human resources office, and that department is probably the one that I spend a lot of my time in. You can, as a county manager, you can really get bogged down in personnel issues because there's something going on, whether it's hiring, it's a termination, it's an internal investigation. And so Mr. Wood, when we were sitting down, we kind of divided that up, and he said, I'd like for you to take that. I've had a lot of training in conflict resolution, and so myself and Miss Lee, the HR director, we kind of take on pretty much any internal investigation in the county that's needed, any disciplinary actions or proceedings, any appeal hearings that we cover. And also the positive side of that is we do a lot of the diversity training and departmental training for the managers, as something like employee training or employee orientation or even evaluating employees.
Anything that falls under personnel.
That's right.
Falls under the heading of human resources.
That's right. And then probably the largest department that I directly supervise is the Emergency Service Office. That's encompasses the 911 Division, the Fire Marshal, the Emergency Management Division, and then the EMS and Wayne Net Division. And I am the department head for OES. When Mr. Gurley retired back in 2014, that gave the county a chance to sort of revamp that department and kind of split those duties up somewhat. And so what created from that was an assistant county manager position who was also a department head for OES, and I really enjoy that. We've got a great staff of people. The 911 Center, some of the most dedicated dispatch professionals that you'll find.
No question about that. So you're actually the department head, the director of that particular department, and you answer to yourself. Is that the way it works?
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
How do you like that? Oh, I like it. Well, good, I do too. So is that how?
Yeah, but we're very fortunate in emergency services. Mel Powers is kind of the go-to man for emergency services. Mel's been with the county over 20 years and has a lot of experience. And so he is kind of the go-to man that helps me balance that with the other duties that I have. And then I'm the department head responsible for Department of Aging. We have a great director there, Paula Edwards, and I'm kind of Paula's liaison to the county manager's office. And
that, of course, includes the senior center.
That's right, Peggy Seeger Senior.
Things.
That's right. Yeah. And then the same process for Veteran Services Office. Right. Brenda, she reports directly to me, and I kind of help as her liaison to the commissioners and the board of and Mr. Wood. But probably the job that I spend probably that I enjoy is
What
the
do you
Jetport.
enjoy?
I really enjoy the Jetport.
The Jetport.
I've been a pilot for a while. I've got a cousin that's an airline pilot, and he took me on my first flight when I was 8 years old, and I've just loved aviation ever since. And
Well, you know, I tell you, I would venture to say, Tommy, that we have one of the finer airports in the region.
oh, it's a fantastic
It is.
airport,
It really is.
and
I bet there's a lot of people from Wayne County who've never even been out there.
no, and I would encourage them to go out there because we have already completed a lot of projects out there. We've got more on the way, and the airport I think, is a hidden gem for
It
Wayne
is.
County.
It is. Now, we need to make the point that it's not a commercial airport.
It's not a commercial airport. We do get some light business traffic, corporate traffic, but it's primarily a general aviation airport. You'll find your local pilots, some with some very storied history and past in the Air Force, and we've got a guy, Colonel Kleber, that used to fly gliders out there, and he's just an amazing person to talk to.
Former base commander Colonel Ray Cleaver is an amazing guy. He's in his, he doesn't mind admitting it, he's in his 90s and he's still flying.
And it's amazing just the history that Colonel Kleber has.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was a few years ago. I flew in to the Harnett County Airport, and at the time I had my own plane. And Colonel Kleber came up to me. He said, "You know, I used to fly that plane 30 years ago."
30 years.
And I kind of looked at him, and he went on to tell me the whole story about the plane. And it's just amazing that he's still that excited about aviation as he was when he took his first flight.
And a lot of people don't realize he flies sailplanes.
He does.
Gliders, if you will.
He does,
Yeah.
and he's the tow pilot, and he's done that for a lot of years, and just an amazing story, an amazing American.
He really is, and seemingly the best of health, and is quite active.
That's right.
In his 90s.
In his 90s, he
That's
still
amazing.
flies. Still
Yeah.
flies every week.
He is, yeah. So anyway, we have a really nice airport. How long is that runway out there?
The runway is 5,500 feet.
good
Eventually,
size.
we'd like to, expand that some. The airport is really an economic development engine for us. We have corporate traffic primarily
Corporate
that comes in, some light commercial occasionally, but the runway we still need to make some improvements to get some heavier aircraft in there.
I think there's a possibility that perhaps one day this could be just kind of a starting off point, and maybe just a small airport that would lead to, say, shuttle to Raleigh, Durham, or perhaps Fayetteville, perhaps Greenville.
Maybe long term.
Long
I
term,
think
okay.
long term. I think that
Well, I'm hoping,
smaller airports have kind of really had a resurgence in the last few
Yes.
years because of the security concerns at the major airports and the congestion and the time delays. And so a lot more people have found general aviation travel to be a little more accommodating.
A company by the name of Terrafugio is trying to market flying cars. You see that?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I've been kind of read up on some of
Yeah,
that.
and they're not the only ones. There are other companies as well.
It seems far-fetched, but then when you think across your own lifetime and you see the advances that have been made in technology, it's really not as far-fetched as you think.
No, it's not. And there are actually communities in the country that are built residential areas,
Right.
subdivisions,
Right.
with an airport strip in the middle of the residence.
That's right. It's like an air subdivision, and
Exactly.
everybody they have taxiways instead of driveways. And I've been to a few of those, and they're really unique and something that surprisingly is starting to be a growing trend in general aviation.
Very much so, and that is very interesting. So what else do you do here? I know that your love is flying, and that you enjoy the airport and all that. So what else do you do? And I should actually ask you rather, what do you see happening to Wayne County in the next few years? And if you would nail something down, give me some specifics.
Well, I think Wayne County's in a great position where we're strategically located between major highway corridors, and that's one of the things that companies look for economic development. They want to be able to move their product in and out of the area. I think one of the best assets that we have is our people. Wayne County is home to some of the finest people that you'll ever meet in eastern North Carolina. Our hospitality is second to none.
True.
Our barbecue is second to none.
That's true.
And that's coming from a guy that grew up in western North Carolina.
Oh, shame on you. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Shelby in Cleveland County,
Just west of Charlotte.
west of Charlotte,
Yeah.
right between Charlotte and Asheville,
Yeah.
and lived there until I moved off to college. My parents still live there, and my sisters, and still go back there quite a bit. But that's home for me.
That's beautiful country up
It
through
is.
there, but gosh, we like it here.
I've really enjoyed it here.
But you're a farmer. You're from a farming background. You have a farming family, and you are a farmer. Tell me about that.
Well, Both of my grandfathers grew up on farms.
One of which was in radio, by the way.
One was a radio announcer there in Shelby for 52 years. He grew up on a small family farm in North Carolina in Shelby. His little claim to fame is he grew up with Earl Scruggs, the famous
did he
banjo player.
really?
He did. They were childhood friends, remained friends their whole life.
Oh, I love Scruggs.
Love Scruggs. I was fortunate growing up, occasionally he would drop by the house. And I mean, it was just unique. At the time, I was just a small kid, and I didn't know that, the most famous banjo player in the world
Really?
was in my
Did you
grandfather.
ever say, who's that? And somebody said, oh, that's just Earl.
Well, I remember one time I was about 10 years old. I asked my grandfather, I said, who was that man that was over here? He said, well, son, sit down and let me tell you who that man was.
Let me tell you a story about a man named Earl.
So, as far as the farming background, my grandfather Burns grew up on a farm in Alabama, and they moved to North Carolina in the 40s. He was in the hosiery business, owned a hosiery mill. But I married into a farming family. My wife is
Smart.
from Harnett County.
Okay.
She's lived there her whole life. She went to school at Campbell. She has never lived more than 3 miles from Campbell University
Is that right?
her entire life.
Is that right?
Yep. Her dad is a tobacco farmer, and he is probably one of the last true small acreage farmers around. A lot of the smaller guys, as they aged out and equipment costs grew, they started, renting the land out to the larger farmers. But he's held on. He's scaled back the last few years. But I've been fortunate. I've learned a tremendous amount from him. We've had soybeans, we've grown sweet potatoes, and he is his knowledge of tobacco farming. I would put him up against NC State scientists as far as what he knows about the crop.
Well, they learned it from somewhere. It's probably him.
And his story is an amazing story. He has lived his entire life on that farm. That's the only job he's ever had, and it's just amazing to see that way of life still preserved in a little small corner in Harnett County.
I love it. Now, were you personally, you lived in Lillington, Dunn, or where?
I lived in Anger. I've always stayed right around Campbell. Our farm is right between Booze Creek and Anger.
Andrew's awful close to Raleigh. Did that spoil you at all?
It occasionally,
a
as
little
far
bit of Raleigh in
shopping trips and restaurants
yeah.
and
I'm
but
so sorry.
but then the traffic is what will make you glad you're in rural North Carolina. And
well, Andrew's a nice town.
Andrew's a nice town. I managed several towns there in Harnett County, Coates and Lillington.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You were actually a town manager.
Been a town manager about the first 10 years of my career.
Coates is a nice little town, nice little community, crossroads there.
I was the manager in Coates, and then I went to Lillington, and then did a few years down in Cumberland County in the town of Spring Lake. And then most recently, before Wayne County, I was actually the county manager.
In Harnett County, county manager there. I see the Campbell University diploma on the wall, as well as UNC Pembroke, as well as Campbell University again.
Yeah, love my fighting camels.
Are those real?
Those are real.
Are they really?
Those are a lot of sweat equity.
I was going to get me some of those. A lot of sweat equity.
But a lot of people that know me, we're Campbell fans. We're true and true, and you won't. We hardly miss a football game, and we go to most of the basketball games. And I've tried to bring my kids up with Campbell, but. It's tough sometimes when you're in the middle of all these ACC schools. But I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Campbell, and just excited about all the things that are going on at Campbell University.
Go Camels!
That's right.
Tommy Burns is the Assistant County Manager for Wayne County, USA, here on Earth, and I thank you for speaking with us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you. In Harnett County.